as we moved on from, once we learned how to get the 2-on-1 grips, whether I have a 2-on-1 palm down wrist grip, or a 2-on-1 palm up or palm down, or a wrist and elbow, those are my 2-on-1 connections I'm trying to do with my hands, correct? We're good on that part.
Yes.
The other part is making sure I have inside position. Like I said, I can lean to one side or the other. Depends on what kind of torso controls that I'm going to work into. But our torso controls are a couple steps further down the line. Right now, what we're working on is that we established a 2-on-1 wrist grip. Once we establish the 2-on-1 wrist grip with my elbows inside and I'm here, now what's the next move after establishing the 2-on-1 wrist grip? I pull my elbows and lock them in, right? The immovable elbow. I walk my elbows to my hips. If Jacob tries to pull away and I stay my ground, I lose that elbow-hip connection, right? So as he starts to pull away, I go with him and move so that way I can maintain my elbow-hip connection. That way, I'm slowly but surely creeping into my first leg entanglement, which is that Ashi Garami, or Irimi Ashi Garami, the standard Ashi Garami, right? So the way we're trying to do it, instead of trying to lay down underneath and rise up to the Ashi Garami, we want him seated down. That way we can start working better control. I can get elevated and do my Ashi Garamis from a laying down to a standing position, but ideally I would like both of us to be seated, and that's what we're working for our first Ashi Garami. Okay? So now I have my 2-on-1 palm down grip. Right? From here, I've worked into attaching my elbows to my hip, which is my immovable hip. So now Jacob's trying to pull that wrist free, he's pulling me in with him so I can maintain that connection. Once I do that, I put my insteps behind his heels and instantly drop him with the dummy sweep. From the dummy sweep, we work into another 2-on-1. This time it's a 2-on-1 on his leg. Okay? There's going to be a lot of different ways that you can enter this way, but what I want you guys to do is to make sure I have one above the knee and one below the knee. That's the main thing I want to look for right now. Of course, in gi, I grab material. In no gi, I'm cupping to the wrist, like this. I look like a praying mantis. Okay, I can either be down low and up high, or both can be up high. One above the knee, one below the knee. Okay. Depending on the situation, usually dictates which grip I'm going to go for. I like grabbing right at the knee. I feel more connected. I'm not going to be strong enough to grab Jacob and pull him into my Ashi Garami. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just locking him so he can't go backwards easily. So once I've locked him in, I continue with my forward progression in as well. As I go that way, I'm going to slide. I can't really grip that good with this hand yet, but as I have my grips, I'm going to come in here and pull myself in to where I have a connection. For this connection that we're looking at, you'll see some people do what we call single leg X, where they have the instep of this foot underneath the same leg butt or buttocks, right? Then I put this one into the hip. The only problem with this one, it's hard to make a connection to this other leg, correct? So a lot of times when you see this position, the single leg X, where I'm really only isolating one leg, that's usually on a grounded person versus a stand-up person. Can you do it in other places? Yes, but with us both seated, it's a lot harder for me to make the connection that I want ideally. This foot is not pushing him away, it's pushing him down into the mat so I control the hip. This one I'm going to move into a cross buttocks and put it underneath the butt of the far leg. This is going to help keep him from stepping over. I can control it. I can lift my leg and control everything like that. But with my foot here, watch the connection. Easily connected. Now I can close the loop. Now I'm very strongly isolated to this. If I'm here, I can't make the loop. He can easily pop my foot off his hip and start escaping. I want to be here, here. Pull it off. A lot harder now. Back up. See how I'm connected to him? That way, his knee is inside my knee line. Very important. If his knee comes outside my knee line, I don't have any kind of heel hook whatsoever. okay? So this is my Irimi Ashi Garami, my standard Ashi Garami from here. Foot in the hip, down into the hip, instep into the far butt cheek, make the knee attach right through here, bang, much tighter. I don't even have to worry whether I'm going to go straight, leg lock, heel hooks, whatever. I'm connected. If I'm connected properly, if he does his linear retreat, I'm connected. If I go for a heel hook and start spiraling him that way, he's gonna try to gator roll out of it. Go ahead and roll out of it. If I have a good connection, I am still connected. So I passed the linear test and the spiral test. That's what we're gonna work into next. So everybody got it? 1, 2, 3.